Okay, let's just get right to it. The one question that seems to be on everyone's mind is AI coming for my job? It feels like it should be a simple yes or no, right? Well, the answer, it's a whole lot more complicated than that. Because maybe the real story here isn't about replacement at all. What if it's actually about a total reinvention of what work even looks like? So let's really dig into this. All right, first up, let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture. Across the entire economy, AI is already shaking things up, and you can really see its impact when you look at entry-level jobs. Check this out. A recent survey of top executives dropped this bombshell number. Over half, 52%, of their companies are already seeing AI either eliminate or shrink down some of their entry-level positions. I mean, that's not some far-off future prediction. That is happening right now. Okay, so with that in mind, you think the number one skill companies are desperate for is technical know-how, right? More coders, more engineers. But here's the crazy part. Executives are saying the real skills gap, what they're actually struggling to find, isn't technical at all. It's the human stuff. Things like good communication and the ability to just, think critically and solve a problem. And this quote right here really just hits the nail on the head. So listen up, because this is the key. The jobs aren't just disappearing into thin air. They're evolving. All the boring, repetitive stuff, yeah, that's getting automated. And that means from day one, companies need people who can jump in and handle the complex stuff, the problem solving. Okay, so to make this feel a little less abstract, let's zoom in on a perfect example, trucking and logistics. I mean, think about it. This industry is literally the lifeblood of the economy. It moves over 70% of everything we buy in the US. And this whole revolution, it doesn't even start on the highway. It starts right here, in the warehouse. Long before a single tire hits the pavement, you've got these automated systems and robots just zipping around, picking, packing, and loading everything up with incredible speed and accuracy. And it's not staying in the warehouse either. It's spilling out onto our streets. Look at this number. The market for those little delivery robots is projected to just explode. We're talking $7.6 trillion by 2034. Oh, that's not a typo, that's trillion with a T. It's just mind-boggling. Now, let's head out onto the open road because this is where it gets really wild. We're now seeing fully driverless big rigs. I'm talking no human behind the wheel, hauling actual cargo on US highways. And because a robot doesn't need to sleep, these things can run pretty much 24/7. That completely flips the script on the economics of trucking. So you might be asking, why is all of this incredibly fast? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is money. It's just getting cheaper. Look at this chart. The price of a standard robotic arm is just falling off a cliff. We're talking a drop of over 75% in just a few years. And you know the rule, when tech gets cheaper, everybody starts buying it. Okay, so this all sounds great, right? A superly automated future. But, well, the reality is a little messier. The road to full automation is, let's just say, filled with some pretty big human-sized potholes. In fact, there are 3 huge hurdles slowing this whole thing down. First, you've got this legal mess where every state has different rules. It's a total patchwork nightmare. Second, the million-dollar question. If a driverless truck crashes, who's at fault? Who pays? And third, and maybe the biggest one of all, is just us, the public. Do we actually trust this stuff? And that trust issue, it is very real. A recent poll found that a whopping 62% of us think that sharing the road with these robot trucks will actually make things more dangerous. That is a huge perception problem to overcome. So all of these problems, the laws, the liability, the trust, they all bring us right back to the human in the driver's seat. And this is the ironic twist in the whole story. The human driver might actually be more important now than ever before. And check this out, because this is wild. For years, one of the biggest headaches for the entire trucking industry has been a driver shortage. One that automation was supposed to magically solve is that they couldn't find enough humans to do the job in the first place. So people started thinking, okay, what about a middle ground? And they came up with this idea for a new job, something like a truck safety operator. Basically, you'd still have a human in the cab, but their only job is to watch the AI and, grab the wheel if things go sideways. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, not really. This idea is actually full of holes. First, you're turning a skilled profession into a boring, low-paying babysitting job. Second, it creates this thing psychologists call the out-of-the-loop problem. Basically, when you're bored and not engaged, your reaction time slows way down, which is not good. On top of that, it gets rid of the whole 24/7 advantage of automation and throws human liability right back into the legal mess. It's kind of the worst of both worlds. Okay, so let's zoom back out. We've been deep in the world of trucking. But what does all of this tell us about the future of work for the rest of us? Here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. Automation isn't really about eliminating jobs. It's about raising the bar for what we humans need to bring to the table. The most valuable skills going forward won't be the routine stuff. It's going to be all the things AI can't do. So your career might depend less on trying to compete with a machine and a whole lot more on getting really, really good at what makes you human. Which really brings us to the final and I think most important question. The robots are busy learning how to drive, so what are you learning to do that they can't? Think about that.